And joining us once again, great to welcome back. He's been with us several times before. That means he's got another one of his great gray man novels out, and his latest is called Relentless. We're joined today by best-selling author Mark Greaney on the telephone. And Mark, great to talk with you again. How have you been?
Hey, doing good, Doug. Thanks for having me.
I think of all the people that write novels, I think you have the most appearances on this program, so thank you for that, and it means you're very prolific.
Yeah, that's great. I like hearing that.
This one just came out, actually, as we talked today, right? Relentless came out, another, as I said, the Gray Man novel series, and first of all, congratulations on this. This is the 10th overall, right?
Yeah, this is the 10th in my Gray Man series.
That's great, yeah. I mean, 10 of any books is great, but to have one particular series, that obviously means the fans love the characters, don't they?
Yeah, I hope so. We're going in the right trajectory, and I love doing them. He's a fun character to write, and I like to do them in different locations and make each story different. But they're definitely standalone novels. Nobody has to read all 10 books. You can pick up this book and get right into the action.
And again, for people who may not have been with us before or are aware, the characters are Court Gentry, an agent, right, CIA agent, and the other character is Zoya Zakharova, right, also an agent. So they kind of intertwine throughout all the books, and again in this one, right?
That's correct. Yeah, they're both working as contract agents for the CIA in a program called Poison Apple, which is has them running all over the world and trying to right wrongs, as it were.
Well, give the synopsis again. As I always tell you and other authors of these kind of books, I don't like to give away too much of the plot, but I know it takes place partially in Venezuela, and then I think Zoya goes to Berlin, and there are a bunch of intelligence operatives that are just kind of disappearing. Nobody knows why, right?
Yeah, exactly. The book opens with the hero, Court Gentry, in a CIA medical facility suffering from some wounds, and he's not ready to be put back in the field, but his masters come and get him and throw him back out in the field because they have to find out why these intelligence officials from all over the world are disappearing. And he ends up in Venezuela, Zoya ends up in Berlin, and finally their two investigations kind of intertwine, and they have to unravel an international conspiracy.
Yeah, that's great setup for what happens after that. And I know I've asked you this before, but these two particular characters, obviously this is the 10th novel that you've had them in. Obviously, I guess even from the last book that we talked to you about, they've changed a little bit, right? Or did they grown, I guess, a little bit differently than from book number one, right?
Yeah, I like to investigate how people change through time and how the things that happen in each book affects them. So Court and Zoya are in love, but at the same time they both have trust issues because they're both basically international assassins. So they have some issues with some trust. But in this book, Court is desperate to protect Zoya from something, and Zoya is fiercely independent and doesn't want his protection. But at the same time, the two of them have to work together along with some other colleagues, to unravel this mystery and try and keep the U.S. from being drawn into a war.
Again, I should also tell maybe people that we're not aware or haven't been with us before. I mean, you have a degree in international relations, political science. You've traveled all over the world, kind of even training alongside military and law enforcement in the past. So you know what of you write. So that has helped you not only in this book but the previous 9 books, right?
Yeah, all the research I do really does help me make the stories more realistic. I like to do location research. I do research with weapons. I do research with scuba diving and stunt driving and all these sorts of things. Just enough. I'm not particularly good at anything, but I'm able to talk about all the things because of the research that I've done.
How about the technology? Obviously, when you're dealing with spies and all that kind of thing, technology is changing seemingly by the minute. I would even think since 2009 when you started the series, the technology is probably leaps and bounds further along than then, right? Today in this particular book.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. In this book, there's weaponized drones that did not exist a few years ago on such a small scale. These are miniaturized drones that can be used as weapons that are real. They are real devices made in Turkey. And there's also a lot of involved with facial recognition software and gait analysis and all these sorts of things, which the computers are just getting smarter and smarter at tracking people and surveilling people. So I like to keep up on things and put enough of it into the story to make the story current.
Can now, as an author, obviously you can do what you want, but can you make up technology here and there, or maybe make it do something that is not quite doing yet to kind of push the story along, or do you try and keep it 100% what it can do right now?
I definitely tweak things or make things, the story doesn't have to be factual. It has to be credible. So I don't want to go too far with it and have, like anything that's too far afield, but I will take something and tweak it for what the story needs. And I've done that for the past 10 years.
And I know the readers of your books, I'm sure a lot of them are sticklers in a sense, right? I guess if you go off what is actually accurate, they may tell you about it, right?
Oh yeah, I hear instantly from people on things, and a lot of times they're mistakes that I make. Somebody will just be furious with me that a guy reaches over the back seat of a helicopter to grab something, and they say, well, there's not enough room between the top of the helicopter to put your hand there, and it's that level of criticism, and you just kind of scratch your head a little bit, and it's just a story, but you try and get as close to correct as you can.
So they really get into the minutia then, some people.
Absolutely, and I'm a gun guy. I own a lot of the firearms that I use in my characters use in my books. So I can say this: the gun people are the hardest to deal with, because if you get the muzzle velocity wrong by 1% on a particular gun, you're going to get yelled at left, right, and center, and that happens to me all the time.
But at least they're buying the book, so you got to look at it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good problem to have.
How much, again, of what's going on in the world today, you do kind of read the headlines, right, and kind of pick up ideas, I would imagine, from what you can as far as undercover operations go, right?
Yeah, this book, the idea for this book first came when I was doing some reading about how the CIA has an agreement with a Middle Eastern country, the United Arab Emirates, to where we do not collect intelligence on them. We don't spy on the UAE. We set up their version of the CIA, the Signals Intelligence Agency. We just had this agreement. Since they're our ally, we don't do that. Well, we spy on other allies, but we don't do it to the UAE. And I thought to myself, well, that would be, what if that comes back and bites us in the butt,
right.
somehow. So I just took the story from there and thought about the UAE's wants and needs and how they could sort of trick America. And that's basically the inception of this whole book.
Yeah, that's great. And I should mention again before we wrap up, I know we have limited time, the Gray Man series, from what I gather in the notes, you're going to be doing a film version of that, right, this year? Yeah,
they start filming in just 2 weeks in California. It's Netflix is doing it, and Ryan Gosling is playing the hero, Port Gentry,
right,
and Chris Evans is playing the villain, a guy named Lloyd. It's from the first book, The Gray Man.
Okay, I didn't realize it was that soon. I just saw 2021. Oh, great! Yeah. Will that be a series or one movie standalone?
It'll be a movie version, but the Russo brothers, the directors and writers of the script, from the very beginning, they wanted to turn this into a franchise. So hopefully there'll be more.
Oh, great!
More beyond the first film.
Well, we'll look for that. You have 10 of them, so there's at least 10 movies right there.
Yeah, yeah, and they should have some good fodder.
Well, again, the name of this book is called Relentless, another Gray Man series novel, and we've been talking with Mark Greaney again today. And once again, Mark, give out website or contact information. People can get more information on the book.
Sure. My website is markgraneybooks.com, and my name's spelled Greaney. And they can also find me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook.
Great. Yeah, I also saw some things you put up on your website and YouTube as well. So a lot of ways to contact Mark. And Mark, always great talking with you. I'm assuming you have another one in your head, or I've already started. So when that comes out, we'll have you on again. But thanks for being with us.
That would be great. Thanks for having me, Doug.
I'm Stan Brock. 30 years ago, I formed Remote Area Medical to help people overseas. But then we found generations of families in America isolated by poverty from the health care they need. Together, we can take dental, vision, and medical help to 1 million adults and their kids, right here at home in the United States of America.